committee. So I'm Ryan Norton, I work at the University of Rhode Island, I'm professor of oceanography and the director of the Superfund Research Center on PFAS. We call that SLEEP. It's about the sources, the transport, the exposure, and the effect of these compounds. It is funded by the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences at $9 million over 5 years. So they take it obviously very seriously. As you've already heard, the compounds are everywhere basically, they're in all of us. They do not break down, which is a problem with how to dispose of dispose of them, because we can't get rid of them unless we incinerate them. So there are very few options. It's not only a Rhode Island problem or a national problem, it's a global problem. And some of them have been addressed on a global scale. Ideally in the US it would have been addressed by EPA. We're not manufacturing them, but I don't think it's too late. And right now we have provisional health advisory from EPA, but they are not binding. So in that vacuum of leadership, I guess the states have to do something to protect their citizens, and of course Rhode Island, DEM, and DOH are doing things. The question is at what level do we think it's safe? And that's where it gets a little difficult to know the answer. We know there are health effects at current levels in the general population. They affect the immune system, and that has been documented in children. And children get them through, they get them in the womb, and they get them through breast milk, and then of course do whatever they eat and drink. So there is concern, of course, with toxicologists who might have some additional insights, but the current EPA guideline, 70 parts per trillion, seems low, but then the most recent state bills are lower. ATSBR in the US has come up with guidelines that would suggest it should be in the teens. Several of the states, like New Jersey, have established MCLs at 10 or 11, 12, 13. So it seems that the 70 might not be the safest approach at this point. What else am I supposed to say? I would love for DEM to do the monitoring that you request, and of course it nice to actually have some resources for it, because it's not a cheap enterprise. But at this point, somebody has to do it. It cannot be only academic labs, so obviously the state is set up to do it. It would be nice if they could. So for all the 5 compounds that are at least the minimum, you should look at the class much, much better, because as was said, the substitution is happening by industry all the time. And unless EPA stops that, at least you've got to keep on top of the 5 worst ones, which are targeted as good. Lastly, I would say, better to say than sorry, and I can say this, trying to establish some stringent guidelines within Rhode Island. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions for this week? Representative Phillips, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to elevate you to speaker, sir.
No, I don't want
The question I have, I think I heard your testimony is the children get it by the drink and the food that they have, and I think we heard earlier that it's, if you get a shower within the PFAS is in the water, you can get absorbed from the shower. Will that hold true to washing of clothes? It brought up, my thought process was going, if we're washing the clothes in contaminated water, will that absorb into the skin through the clothing or transfer from the clothing into the body?
Good question. I think at this point, if you wash your clothes, the compounds will be in the water, and that will reach the wastewater treatment plant, and that's how they reach 7 downstream. Children will get it through when the fetuses will get it through the mother already in their body. Then they get it through breast milk, and then they get it through when they eat or drink. So the moment the baby's born already has PFAS in there. So that's one of the sad aspects of these and other chemicals.
So these chemicals pass through the barrier,
Yes.
and so they're getting it as soon as they're conceived.
Yes. What before?
Scary stuff.
Yes.
A little scary stuff. If you put a filter on, you force it. Does that filter out any of these?
If you change it for the regular, yes.
Oh, I'll have to do that. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Very informative. Okay, our next witness, has anybody want to speak on this bill? Go right. I'll put you next.
Okay, just so people know, we've had written testimony from Joan Milas, and she is in opposition to it, and she has written testimony only. We have Michael Bradley, which is written testimony only, and he's in favor of it, and Rachel Miller from Providence City Council, Councilor Ward 13 is in favor of it with written testimony only.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Could you say who you are?
Sure. Michelle Bowden, I'm with Clean Water Action. Definitely support this bill. Definitely important to know that states are taking action on PFAS across the country. Been a lot of news coverage about this chemical. 110 million Americans with their drinking water possibly affected by it. So, and of course, recently we've seen some of the maps here in Rhode Island. That's definitely the case as well. Pretty much when it gets tested for, it's found. So that's a pretty big problem. I think it's important to know that on the one hand, working on source reduction is really important. That's why we do have a bill in right now to get rid of PFAS in food packaging. And there are other sources of PFAS that need to be attended to. But this is kind of the other end of the spectrum, right? It's already out there. So we need to protect Rhode Islanders. And that's why this bill is so important. Setting standards, making sure we're treating the chemical as a class, and that we are protecting folks from what's already in the environment. So, happy to take any questions.
I have
Thank you.
a question.
Sure, Representative.
I'm thinking about lead that's already in the water, so much lead already. And now PFAS. How can people prevent, what kind of things that they can do to prevent this?
To prevent
Because it's in the,
exposure.
it's already in the water, and we have to use the water. Are there any suggestions that you can offer moms or prospective moms or just families to protect themselves?
Sure. Well, that's a really good question, also a very complicated one. I mean, I think we're asking you to take action to, make it a reality for folks that it's not coming out of their faucets. I know that there are some filters out there that do work, but I don't know too much about filtration. What type of filtration works or doesn't. So I'm not sure if there's anyone else who could better answer that question.
Do you want to answer that question?
Sure.
Go ahead. You don't mind, do you? Then
No,
you can't
not
answer.
at all.
We can go back to you for questions. Anybody have any other questions for her? All right, we'll go back. Representative, we'll just let him answer while I'm trying to pass. Representative.
So if you can use reverse osmosis, that will get rid of it completely. If you have the Brita filter, it will work, but you have to renew it fairly frequently. Unfortunately, I can't tell you how often, because that depends what is in your water and how much you use it. But an activated carbon filter will help, yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it as water being a basic human right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your expertise.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question?
Oh, you got a question from him? Okay. Go back. I hate to say him, but I can't figure out who's And I'm sitting there drinking water. I'm getting nervous.
Not drinking is not an option.
Okay. Go ahead, Representative.
How does this affect livestock?
That's a good question. It's present in most animals, the higher in the food chain, so it's high levels in polar bears, seals, ospreys, of predator birds. We can measure it down to bivalves, small fish. I mean, it's just like in answers and everything else.
I'm just thinking out loud that we're focusing on how it's affecting human beings, but we're not talking about the animals that we consume. One of the things that I would be concerned about is the livestock that we are bringing in as meats for us to eat. So we're regulating this in Rhode Island, but we're not dealing with meats that are brought into the state, meat and poultry and other consumer dairy and other consumers.
I think at this point, when we think of where contaminants are coming from, and in fact, in most people in the US, it's drinking water is the biggest item. Then probably the next easy one to target is food contact materials, as was in the other bill. Because that's the easiest one you can phase out quickly. And food, I think right now is a distant third. There are hotspots in some parts of the country where it's a big issue. I don't think it has been tested in Rhode Island to any degree, but I would assume for now the drinking water is the number one item we want to address.
And that's the focus of what happened in Vermont.
Thank you, Representative. And Representative McLaughlin, is yours by hand?
Thank you, Chairman. Just,
Sure, go right ahead, what you need to do.
on the subject matter, I was thinking, Chairman Bennett, since I had a bottle of water, how's that pertain to bottled water?
You filtered it, right?
It depends on the brand.
This on.
I'm not a brand.
When you're on the spot, aren't
When we worked with the community on Cape Cod, Barnstable County, they had a major contamination, and the town decided several years ago to put in big filters to protect their citizens. And for a while they had to rely on bottled water, and they tested, and only one of the two brands that they could access was clean of PFAS. But I could not tell you it's that.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's in water. Right? That includes.
we got some of the best water in the world. The old Citrus Red. Well, at least it used to be. I think it still is. I used to. I drink. I still do drink right out of the taps.
It still is, Mr. Chairman.
What?
It still is, yeah.
Good.
I think most people are under the impression that if they're not happy with town water or city water, they buy bottled water, which is the impression leaves it's contaminant free and just been processed. Is that a true statement?
I think in most cases, bottled water is not any better.
Thank you.
And it creates a plastic waste.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your expertise. Did you have a question for the young woman?
All set.
No, set.
All right, I'm good. Anybody that can answer this one, for this one, because the more we learn, the more questions I'm getting.
Right.
So I'm telling you right now, I don't have any answers. Has anybody in the state tested the water treatment plants around our state to see if the water coming out of the water treatment plants have the filtration system that will eliminate the PFASs?
So, I don't think we've been, so you're talking about,
So it goes on.
sorry, sewage treatment plants? Or are you talking about?
No, the water treatment that goes through the pipes that goes to everybody.
Okay, yeah, no, in terms of drinking water treatment, that's what we've been working on with the department. The Department of Health has been sampling. We've now sampled about half of all the public water systems, but all the big ones. So we've covered, of the 90% of Rhode Islanders who are on public water, we've covered about 98% of them population-wise, because we've got the big ones.
Is the report, or is it online someplace, so people that are interested in this can get that information?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the our previous sampling efforts are on, the results are all on the Department of Health website.
Department of Health
Yeah, it's
website.
public information, yeah.
And the second question I have, and as I said, the more I hear this stuff, the more you get questions. It seems like we can't get away from this because of the fact if we're growing gardens even, or we're growing food in the state, we're watering it, so we're putting water that contains the PFAS onto our vegetables even. So it seems like we're just proliferating ourselves with different assets or different aspects of getting the PFAS.
Yeah, I mean, it's found a lot of different places, and in terms of the sources of exposure, it will be absorbed by plants, but then animals that eat those plants are going to have higher levels. So as you move up the food chain, it's going to be more. So it's usually more eating meats that's the concern, rather than plants. But plants will absorb it. So if you had a really contaminated water source and you were irrigating with it, it would be potentially an issue for plants as well.
Go ahead, Representative Ryan Bass.
This is not so much a question, and it can be answered by anyone. I know that you referenced that this information is available online on the website, and at the DOE's website.
The results of the past sampling.
The
yes.
results?
Yeah.
I would recommend that there is a robust education around this, so people know what this is, and also the adverse effects that can be caused by this. I'd also recommend that it not just be online, not everyone has a computer, and is it in multiple languages?
So I would like to share, that's a good suggestion, member of the committee. Every time we have done sampling, we not only put it on our website, but as you said, not everybody has access to it. The town water system also puts it on their website because we always encourage citizens to call their town water system if they have any concerns as their primary first source of information. So it's put on our website, it's put on our town website. We usually always do a press release to inform constituents of what the sampling is. This time we also did, for this round of sampling, we did in an advance notification to all the systems to inform the citizens of their water system that we are going to do this sampling and it will be during this period, and we will definitely share. But as we said, in an effort and attempt to balance informing public versus creating panic, because we have not found it widespread yet in Rhode Island, and we hope it remains that way. Even in this sampling system, we are trying very hard to balance informing the public if it is found. Like in Burrillville, when it was found, that was the only system we found it. We had two community meetings where all the citizens of Burrillville, the fire department, the police department, we informed them what this meant, where the water was applied, and we had an ongoing telephone system to answer any calls when it was found in that system. With the idea that not everybody should be scared of the water being there.
Because I know testing has been done in Burrillville, Westerly, and Cumberland, and it's found the drinking water to be unsafe to drink. I live in Providence, and I am just curious to know if it was done in Providence, in my district, and in the entire city of Providence.
Yes, so Providence.
And just a follow-up question, please. And I wanted to know if it was done, what if that same information schedule was sent out to residents. I'd be curious.
Sure. So to answer your first question, yes, Providence is one of our largest public water systems. So it was sampled, and the only place we found PFAS between 35 to 70, which is 70 being the highest level that we are currently looking at in North Providence, which was Yacht Club, which was a public water system, and immediately they were disconnected from that well, and it was connected to the municipal water system. But we have not found high levels in any other Providence area. The water system has been tested. To answer your second question, if the residents were informed, no. They were not informed because, again, we were going by caution in the last 4 years as it was being discovered to say, if it's there, we inform the residents that it is there versus telling everybody that this is compound, this is an existing compound, it is harmful to you and all of that. But as soon as we discovered the two places, Burrillville and the North Providence one water well that was found to have PFAS high levels, they were notified and disconnected by them.
Thank you. I just got a brief question, and then we're going to move on to the next bill because we're getting late. Touching on Rep. Phillips, Vice Chairman Phillips' question, the sewer treatment plants, do you test it once it comes out of there?
No, at this point, we focus on the drinking water, so we are testing the wells that are connected to private water systems and then to public water systems. And should be the two places that we found, we also informed the private well owners and gave them the option, and they complied and we tested them as well, but not the sewer trees.
Great.
They have not been tested by us, Department of Health.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
We have one other person that wants to talk over there. Oh, I'm sorry, you had a question? That's been a while.
And if anybody remembers the old College Bowl television show, it used to be a toss-up question. So this is a toss-up question. I'm not sure who to ask it of. It's interesting that Burrillville, Cumberland, and Westerly. It's interesting that Burrillville, Cumberland, and Westerly, very different communities, have experienced this high exposure. What's the source?
The one that we've identified as a fire station.
You have to talk into the mic so it gets recorded. Thank you.
So in the one case, it was a fire station where they probably had been doing training exercises. So it was probably the AAAF, the firefighting foam that was the source of it. And in terms of the others, once it's out there, it's kind of a forever chemical, so once it's there, it's hard to say for sure, but it was likely also firefighting foam that tends to be the major source.
Any other questions? Representative Saul.
It seems like it's more prevalent in wells than public drinking bodies. Is that the case?
Some of our public drinking water is from wells.
That's right.
Yeah,
It sounds like it's coming from a well rather than a.
Yeah, generally because once it's in the well, like if something's in the soil, it'll work its way into the well. Whereas surface water, if there was an incident, it would end up in that, but then it would be washed away. So it tends to be more of a, and that's true of many chemical contaminants. The issue is more groundwater than surface.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next week.